Ladies and gentlemen, a pleasant good evening, boys and girls. Welcome to another episode of the Louis Sports Network. Hope everybody's having a wonderful Sunday on this snowy evening. Before we get started, guys, make sure to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, make sure your post notifications are turned on, make sure you're sharing on your social media platforms. Truly appreciate it. Hope everybody's having a wonderful Sunday. It is NFL divisional weekend playoffs as we cap on the Sunday, and what I wanted to talk about was the second night game right now between the Baltimore Ravens and the Buffalo Bills at Highmark Stadium in Orchard Park, New York. The Bills just narrowly escaped with a 27-25 win over the Ravens to advance to the AFC Championship to meet the Kansas City Chiefs for the right to represent the American Football Conference and go to the Super Bowl in the Superdome in NOLA for February 9th. Now, how did we get to this point, and what do I think about this game? I don't care what the Lamar Jackson fanboys say, but Lamar Jackson continues to prove time and time again how much of a choke artist he is. Because was he terrible? No, Lamar was not terrible. They're going to look at, he was 18 of 25, completed 72% of his passes. He had 254 yards, and he had an extra 39 yards on the ground for 283 total yards. Josh Allen didn't play great. He had no passing touchdowns. He had two rushing touchdowns, and he was 16 of 22 for 127 yards. But here's the problem. The problem is Lamar Jackson and Mark Andrews, to me, they both deserve blame for this game and why the Ravens lost, because Shannon Sharpe, I was watching a bit of Nightcap with him and Ocho Cinco, and Shay Sharpe said something very interesting. I noticed that there were a lot of fans in the comments talking about, why is it that you give Dak Prescott and Joe Burrow the energy and how much you blame them for how bad they play, but how come Lamar doesn't get that smoke? And I know that Lamar Jackson fanboys are going to say, oh, if you're blaming this on Lamar, you didn't watch the game. No, Lamar could deserve. I'm not putting everything on Lamar Jackson, but Lamar Jackson was Lamar Jacksoning as usual, ladies and gentlemen, because what did he do? Shannon Sharpe said this, and if you really pay attention, it goes to show you why, to me, Lamar has always been a regular season quarterback for this reason. Did you know that this year, let's put out the numbers, man, since Lamar Jackson fanboys, they love stats, right? He had an unbelievable season, 4,347 yards, completed 68% of his passes, 41 touchdowns, only 4 interceptions. But what does that matter if in 8 postseason starts, you have committed multiple turnovers in 4 of those 8 games, ladies and gentlemen? That means that you're turning the ball over 1 every 2 postseason games that you've played. Lamar Jackson had a fumble and he had an interception. The Bills scored 10 points on Lamar Jackson's interception and his fumble. Now let's also remember that Mark Andrews had a fumble too. He had a big fumble because he got stripped when he caught the ball when Lamar threw the pass right down the middle. And that was supposed to be a huge game. But Mark Andrews got stripped, and he was absolutely god-awful. 2 targets, only 3 yards. Derrick Henry, they were stopping him, but then he got going in the second half. If you notice, why is it that the Baltimore Ravens keep going away from the game plan? They failed to convert on 2 two-point conversions, and Derrick Henry was killing them in the second half. As a matter of fact, they outran the Buffalo Bills on the ground in the second half, and they were having so much trouble stopping Henry. Henry got going in the third quarter. But for some reason, they went away from that. And okay, Lamar Jackson threw the pass, and it was actually a good pass. It was a good throw. But Mark Andrews, for some reason, decides to slide the wrong way. And what should have been a tie game, he fumbles the ball and drops it. And the Bills take over, and they win the ball, and they win the game by running out the clock because the Ravens were out of timeouts. They only had 1 timeout left. When Ray Davis was able to get the key first down that pretty much iced the game. And the Ravens had no chance. But ladies and gentlemen, four in four of the 8 postseason games that Lamar's played in, he's turned the ball over twice, at least twice. Lamar Jackson has told people that he gets antsy in these playoff games. What is that telling you, ladies and gentlemen? It's telling you that Lamar is not built for big moments. Even if Lamar Jackson, like I just told you, put up 254 yards in the air and 39 yards on the ground, 293, I said 283, excuse me, 293 yards of total offense. But what does it mean if you had 2 back-breaking turnovers and Mark Andrews, it doesn't help that you turned the ball over. And I know that they were missing Zay Flowers. And Isaiah Likely, he actually played really well. Really didn't drop a pass when the ball was really thrown to him. And I know one ball in which he ran a cross route to the outside, Lamar Jackson had just overthrown him. Isaiah Likely, they honestly, when the Ravens went to 2 tight end sets, Derrick Henry was able to run the ball effectively. There were just moments where they really didn't go to 2 tight end sets, and I don't know why the Ravens just went away from that game plan. They tried to tie the game with Lamar throwing the ball. Like I said, he made a good throw. Mark Andrews was wide open. Like I said, just slid the wrong way, and the ball slipped out of his hands. You cannot blame the conditions in this game. You know why? Because Baltimore plays in those same kind of conditions, so there's no excuse for that. What about the Pittsburgh Steelers? They play in those kind of conditions. Green Bay, when it comes to Lambeau Field. What about Cincinnati? What about Cleveland? So I don't want to hear the conditions as an excuse. I'm not saying that it's not easy to do, because it's not. I'm not a football player, but what I'm saying is that you can't use those as an excuse, because again, the Ravens play in those kind of conditions. They play in Baltimore, for God's sakes. They're not in an open, because then you got to ask yourself, how the hell did Matthew Stafford and the Rams play the way they did, and they play in a dome in SoFi Stadium? But once again, am I blaming this all on Lamar? No, but once again, Lamar Jackson is Jacksoning and does Lamar Jackson things yet again in the postseason. Multiple turnovers, gets antsy. The numbers are not going to tell you the whole story, which Lamar Jackson fanboys are going to do. They're going to look at the numbers and they're going to say Lamar played great. It's not all his fault. You didn't watch the game. Quit hating. And that's y'all problem. Y'all getting emotional over a player that you didn't know. What did I see when I watched the game? I saw Lamar throw an interception. Are you going to blame? I'm pretty sure the fanboys are going to blame the receiver for not running the route when Lamar threw a bad ball. They can't even admit he threw a bad ball on the interception, I bet you. And then Lamar fumbled the football. Now, I already know what the fanboys are going to say. It was a bad snap. Yeah, it was a bad snap. But then Lamar tried to elude the defender. The defender did not fall for the fake. Was able to strip Lamar when he tackled him for a loss on the spin, and Lamar fumbled the football. And fortunately for Lamar, Von Miller didn't take that ball to the house. But this is a tough loss, because you're missing Zay Flowers. But even then, the Ravens had the formula to beat the Bills, because the Bills' defense was getting tired and they were having a hard time trying to tackle when Derrick Henry got going. Two-point conversions. And just think about it. One of those turnovers is probably the difference in the game when you think about it. And I know what they're going to say, but it doesn't matter. Despite all that, it was a 2-point game. Mark Andrews could have tied it, and he dropped the ball. I get it. And unfortunately, Mark Andrews is going to be the scapegoat. But I just wonder, are they going to bring up Lamar Jackson's 2 turnovers? I just wonder if they're going to do that. Because he had 1 interception, but he did have a fumble too. And like I said, I want y'all to keep that in mind. This is the 4th time in 8 postseason games that Lamar Jackson has turned the ball over twice in a game. Multiple times. Is that gonna get mentioned? I just hope. Because you know Mark Andrews is gonna be the scapegoat. And it's unfortunate. He didn't play well. He was awful. 3 yards, a key fumble, and then the failed catch trying to slide down when Lamar Jackson threw a really good pass. Yeah, he's going to get it, because they're going to say they're going to point to the numbers. Lamar completed 72% of his passes. I don't think Lamar played that great. He played good. He wasn't bad, but he wasn't great. He wasn't great. That's very alarming that in half of the postseason games you've played, you've turned the ball over multiple times. That's alarming. Even if Mark Andrews was terrible. And there were quite a bit of injuries happening in this game. Like I said, Josh Allen didn't play great, and the Bills were playing conservative, like they were just trying to give the game to the Ravens, and the Bills still found a way to survive. The Bills were not really being aggressive at all. They were playing real conservative. I was really questioning the play calling on the sidelines, but fortunately, they won the game. Fortunately, and James Cook played well. Josh Allen got 2 rushing touchdowns, but I felt that he was way too conserved. Now he's got to deal with Kansas City. He's got to deal with the refs next week. And the Buffalo Bills finished undefeated at home in the postseason, but they got to go to Kansas City next week on the road. So this is going to be Josh Allen's toughest test to date. Can he get over the hump against Mahomes in the biggest game of his career up to date to go to the Super Bowl? Because it's going to be more than just going to the Super Bowl. Josh Allen got to win it. And I know he's still young in his career, but you beat Mahomes next week, you got to win it. You have to. But we'll find out next week. Anyway, again, shout out to both quarterbacks, Lamar and Josh Allen. But still, Lamar's got to take that L, man. I'm sorry. You just got to. Hold himself accountable, and Lamar Jackson fanboys hold him accountable too. Bottom line, I broke it down, and I watched the game from start to finish, but come on, multiple turnovers in 8 games played? Nah, that's not a recipe for a winning quarterback, even though it's not all his fault. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this is your boy Lewis with another one. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. As always, bless up, live, love. Thank you guys for watching.
Roll, flip it, got it. Oh, the ball was dropped. He had the 2-point conversion in his hands. Andrews did not hold on. Oh, my goodness. Oh, Baltimore. The drop by Henry earlier. Andrews had a drop as well earlier. And for the game to go possibly to overtime. And the conditions, the ball's just a little bit short. You got to catch that all day. But your foot slips. And Milano wasn't in on that play, actually. And guess what? He out-leveraged him. Buffalo wasn't prepared for that. What a play call.
It's shocking.
It's shocking.